Hi, good evening. My name is Mauricio Neuber, professor at University of Brasilia, Brazil, and I am also a coordinator of the research group named SHIS, Complexity, Hypnosis, Subjectivity and Semiotics. Today, in this evening, I would like to make a continuity in our explaining of our work on hypnosis and chronic pain, and with a specific topic, it's a double topic. The first of them is the idea of control, and the second is the idea of meaning and narrative. The idea of control, which is not used in our conception of hypnosis, is very associated with hypnosis since its beginning. In 19th century, for example, control was one of the most significant signs of hypnosis. Frequently, people believed that the hypnotherapist of the hypnologist could control the patient's thinking, thoughts, action, speech, among other topics. Control is also one of the main important notions in the modern paradigm of science. When the researcher, for example, controls the environment, it means that he or she can manipulate all the factors that could influence in the result of research and producing a deliberate result for his research. And why we do not adopt the idea of control? Because firstly, control is related to a deliberate intention, an ego intention concerning something. I can control you, I can control it, or that, or whatever. And this is complicated because hypnosis is something that is related to a very elusive word, a very vague word. And despite we can envisage some level of control, this is not right if you think that there are many other systems activated through hypnosis, and we are not due to a certainty concerning all the results related for it. So in chronic pain, for example, a deliberate thinking directly related to a pain experience will not control it. It was one of the most significant contributions of Milton Erickson, who developed various forms of indirect approach for control. In the sense, when we conceive that metaphors, storytellings, play with words, and even task prescriptions can access these complex systems in different ways and imply its agency system. Chronic pain is a system of experience, a semiotic system of experience, and consequently it cannot be controlled by an external action, especially from the ego. So when a suggestion implicates chronic pain, it must be done in order to produce an autonomous movement from the system in order to reduce the chronic pain expression. So if you could make a comparison, it is as simply a subject can impose an idea against another subject, or if in other context, a subject can invite somebody to participate in a specific task. So I believe that in general we can affirm and consider that the second option is most effective, most interesting, because it's something done in terms of inside-out perspective. And the second topic is that in hypnosis, it's not the ego who will control the internal movements of the self and other systems of the self. Erickson, for example, frequently said that unconscious systems are bigger and have a more deep and precise wisdom concerning as the conscious system. So in hypnosis we learn people to establish a new form of connection with themselves, and through this new form of connection they can establish new connections with another systems. If we consider that trance is a polyphonic system, when we are in trance we will deal with the most different systems, and each of them with some level of agency and autonomy. So it's much more a dialogue or a negotiation than a question of control. The second topic is concerning meaning and narratives. In many forms of psychotherapy, for example, and we here work with hypnotherapy, many therapists consider that the emergence of new meanings are perhaps the most significant or the main sign of a legitimated change. And in some way it is really a very important sign. But when we speak on narrative, we do not consider the different languages that are present in human exchanges, both considering two persons, both considering the subject in exchanges with the different systems that compose himself. So the change is not a narrative affair or meaning affair. It's a reconfiguration, a semiotic reconfiguration with the most different kind of signs. So chronic pain is not limited to a narrative process. Chronic pain work requires an approach that could touch and produce some form of change in different forms of signs. For example, feelings. For example, reactions. For example, words, thoughts, memory, fantasies. And in this sense, we need even to consider something which is very important, because if we, for example, take the first phenomenology, firstness is the fundamental dimension of our experience. So, hypnotic process that touches and produces something new in feelings, imagination, potentialities, sensations, qualities, can establish new trends in a therapeutic process. So, although we need to consider that chronic pain is something with some form of organic roots, and I'm not speaking exactly on causality, but in configuration. Chronic pain is essentially a form of experience, and this way of experience is not limited to words or narrativism. So when you work with somebody, if we can synthesize this, hypnosis is a form that leads person to a reconnection with themselves. As you can say in D sign, for example, a form of religare, a reconciliation with themselves, in order to establish new perspective of an internal dialogue. And in this process, insight is not the most important thing, but the reconfiguration of the semiotic systems, the production of new meanings in narratives are important only if they emerge from this level of change, implicating feelings, sensation, perception, qualities, among other forms of first insights. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again briefly. Bye bye.